What's up, guys? Greg Chapman back again with another episode of the Gentleman Gorilla Small Business Marketing Podcast. And today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Wes and Greg of Driftline right here in PB. Wes, Greg, can you guys take it for a minute and tell the people about you?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having us.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Greg and I have been following you for a little bit, so this is cool to be here. So Greg and I started Driftline, which is a aquatic apparel clothing line
Okay.
this past May. So, think board short. But the unique thing about us is we actually make wetsuit lined board shorts.
That's pretty unique, I feel like. I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
You probably shouldn't because we actually have like a provisional patent on these.
Probably shouldn't. That's
Hope
funny.
not. Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, some cease and desist are about to get sent out, right?
Right. We've done our research, but yeah, we make wetsuit lined board shorts. So they look like a pair of board shorts, but have the functionality of a wetsuit underneath. So to keep you, warm, comfortable, and protect from chafe.
That's pretty cool. I feel like I used to mountain bike when I was like a teenager, and the mountain biking shorts versus the road biking shorts when you're, 13. I'm sure you know the difference. So if
Yeah.
anybody doesn't know, road biking shorts from the 90s, early 2000s, probably still, but back then they were way worse. They just kind of looked like long boxers with pads on them.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that was back when anything above your knees as far as shorts, and you were,
Yeah.
the guy
Big
that was
no-no
getting
back
picked
then.
on.
Yeah,
Right,
So
right.
I don't think I'm allowed to say the word anymore, PC, that I used to be, and I curse all the time. I'd probably get yelled at for that one, but yeah, but the mountain biking shorts had actual shorts over the top of them, so like he wasn't as funny looking.
Yeah, and it's funny. We kind of had like that same mindset going into this. Like we've all seen guys or girls, but mainly focused on guys here, surf with like something underneath, whether it's like a pair of compression shorts or a pair of boxers, and then they throw their normal board shorts on top. That's actually how we kind of came up with the idea. Is like we were surfing probably 2 years ago now, and we're just like fed up with having like a different pair of like undergarment than the normal board short on top because there's bunching and chafing.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, there's got to be
'Cause-
just a better way.
Cause yeah, it used to be like growing up. I remember all my swim trunks had like that weird mesh in it,
Yeah, and that sucks.
I would always cut them out.
Exactly,
'Cause it was
yeah.
like it was so uncomfortable. But at the same time, like you don't really wear like boxers or stuff with your board shorts.
Actually, like so many people still do, and like that even makes it more uncomfortable. We don't even really realize why people do that, but if they don't do that, then think of how little the material is between like your your necessity parts and like whether it's the board or the water or whatever your sport you're doing in the water. It's just we wanted to add a little bit more there.
Yeah. Imagine just getting up and down off the boards. Things get smashed occasionally,
That they do.
Especially when they fall out of place.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance. I'm still very, very novice at surfing. Like, still learning how to get up.
Yeah.
I think I'm just, trying to find a board big enough. No one's at a board big enough that I can borrow.
Yeah,
that I can get stable on.
Yeah, it's funny because whether you are like a beginner or expert, like we wanted to create a product for like everyone in between because there's a use case for everything. But we wanted to create a product that is specific for the water sport industry. This was born out of surfing. We created Driftline just because we were surfing one day, and then all of a sudden, the past couple months, because we're not even a year old yet, we've realized like the value proposition for our like product is way bigger than surfing,
Nice.
which is so cool.
And I was taking a look at your site. It looks like your pricing is pretty on point with like pretty much any new pair of like brand name surfboard shorts. So it's not like
Yeah.
they're way more expensive than like picking up a pair of Billabongs or anything like that. That it doesn't come with that. So that was kind of cool for me to see.
Right. And I mean, Greg was like looking at like the liner. I don't know if you want to go and like how much like the difference between a liner and like the outer shell, like our price point makes sense.
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, I think people initially look at it and see it as a premium product, which we want it to be framed that way, because we really do believe it is. But Wes is right. The actual liner concept, that has existed for just kind of like those mountain bike shorts or whatever, just having neoprene shorts. And those typically cost anywhere from $50 to $90. And then a typical board short nowadays runs what, 50 to 70
Yeah.
bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you add that cost together, that's like well over 100 bucks. And we were able to kind of find a way to have this priced at something that's a little bit more manageable. And that's why we think it's such a great product in the market. It kind of fits right in between, but it's just got that dual purpose.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. It's I think you're solving a problem that a lot of people really didn't even like. You don't even think about it being a thing.
Yep.
Too much.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like just being a casual board short wear. Like I don't think it's something that I've thought about, but like it's definitely like going to the beach playing volleyball. I mean shit falls off sometimes.
Yeah.
Like starts to slide or
Yeah.
moves around, or especially like getting in and out of the water and then like jumping around. Like there's definitely some chafing that goes on sometimes
Yeah.
with the sand and the salt water just rubbing.
Dude, absolutely. And that's the thing that we found is like there are the shorts that have like Lululemon have like their 2-in-1 workout shorts. They have like compression liner, and those are great. But there's nothing been done in like the active water sport industry. So like we're talking surfing, kayaking, because Greg's actually a kayak tour guide.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, up in La Jolla.
Oh, cool. I'll have to come check you out sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a little personal tour, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
One-on-one. Greg and Greg.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
Next podcast is in the water.
I'm starting to accumulate my Greg friends. We should probably just have like a Greg bar crawl someday.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm in.
We would scare the shit out of people.
Yeah, we're
running
gonna
on
take over the
street.
world, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we were just realizing that surfing, kayaking, paddle sports, wakeboarding, wake surfing,
Mhm.
even sailing. Like there's just so many reasons to have a short that is more versatile than just like your normal board short. Because we go to a lot of these events and we see people wearing like the more athletic, like people who still like compete. It's like they wear compression shorts or neoprene liners under their normal board shorts, and it's like when they come over and they see these, they're like, "Oh, this is a no-brainer."
Yeah.
So it's been a cool process for us.
Hell yeah. So you said you're a little over a year old or almost a year old?
Not even. We're like what, 9 months now?
Yeah, I mean the concept has obviously been something we've been working on for a little over 2 years, but we
It does
launched.
take that long.
It does, yeah. A lot of hard work, but we're excited to be where we're at now, and we launched in May
I
last
see it.
year.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah, I guess we're about 8 to 9 months old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, so we met the first time at Same but Different. You guys had a table set up. And I definitely remember like just seeing it and being like, yeah, you got like cool designs. Like, I don't think I really like took enough time to understand like the specialties of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember definitely right off being like, well, they're designed well and they seem like high quality.
Greg's
So-
the designer, so.
Hell
Appreciate
yeah.
that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fuck. So, is this your guys' like first business that you guys have run? Have you guys been an entrepreneur before, or is this kind of like your first venture into, I guess, just
Yeah.
jumping in?
I mean, so I've kind of always been that entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, to start this off though, Greg and I still have like full-time jobs, like 9 to
nice.
5, like straight up. So like everything that we've tried to start with this and everything that we're working with Driftline has been on the side, passion project, like late nights, early morning kind of thing. But that I think comes from someone who wants that entrepreneurial drive more than like other people. And I think that comes from someone who has it within them. I've been starting small businesses since I was a kid. I remember I sold like paper airplanes to like my other 4th graders, like when I was in 4th grade. Ridiculous.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I had like a music and surfing blog before this company. But this is, when Greg and I came up with a concept, it was like the first time where something clicked and it's like, oh shit, this is like a real idea. And that if we put money behind it, like it wasn't even a question. It's more like we have to do this.
Yeah.
And to that point, I think Wes definitely just generally has that entrepreneurial mindset, but we both were doing a lot of stuff when we came up with this concept. Going back to when we realized like we had this crazy idea, I was in getting my 2nd degree in graphic design, and Wes was doing all this other stuff, and it was only because one of my courses was to brand a business from the ground up, and some of my classmates did like a coffee shop or a brewery or something just conceptual, and he had this idea and kind of posed that, and I was like, well, let's just run with that.
Yeah.
And over that time was able to get to the point where we had a business name, business cards, the first 4 designs, which we ended up rolling out actually in our first line, and that was when we had that aha moment, like, oh my God, we have this. But during that entire process after, I was still finishing my degree. Wes was doing so many other things in life. And he is like the busiest person in the world, like annoyingly almost. So yeah, I think just to his point, like we just hit a point where we realized it was such a good concept that we found the drive to manage everything in life and get to a really cool point.
But yeah, talk about like stars aligning, like an
Yeah,
idea
right.
plus like Greg in school where he like start from like ground up, like I have to create this idea, and it's like just like the merging of it was perfect, and it was just like, wow, let's roll.
Man, that's awesome to hear. I feel like that's just kind of how it works a lot of times when you have something that's actually good. Like it's almost like it's meant to happen. It
Yeah.
just like, you know, like you have these skills, I have these skills, like the timing. And it's just kind of nice and also terrifying.
That's an understatement.
Because it's definitely like, well, we're doing this now, so how do we do this?
Yes, yeah. There's
We literally
definitely
had that exact conversation.
there's definitely days where like being a partnership, that's why it's so crucial for us. You know, I've had other business ideas in the past, and they've done, you know, whatever on the side and fun things, but there's never been someone that like you need that compliment when you jump all in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there are days where I'm like, oh my God, like another hurdle, like how are we gonna do this? And Greg's like, all right, let's think creatively, what are we gonna do here? And then there are some days where my like go mindset will just trump like the negative like problem that's on the table as well. So having both of those like entrepreneurial go mindsets for a product that we both love is just, it helps out so much. Like, yeah, it's
That's
great.
pretty great. Yeah, I definitely have that. I was lucky enough to find that with my current business partner, Dom. You know, because I've definitely gone through a few different like attempted business partners launching my marketing company, and they were all great until it just like wasn't for them anymore.
Right.
And so it was like get a few months in, start building, and then it'd be like, and then it just all falls apart. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, fuck.
Yeah.
Like ground one, step one, ground zero. You know.
What's to give a little more of a backstory for those who actually don't know, Greg and I also went to college together.
Oh, nice.
So we were like, sophomore year. I knew him freshman year really well, but sophomore year roommates.
Were you guys both here in San Diego?
No, we were in North Carolina, at a
Oh,
small
shit.
school called Elon. Yeah.
Did you guys like both just kind of end up in San Diego on your own?
Kind
Or-
of, actually. It was weird. So after college, because we lived together, I mean, virtually 4 years, because freshman year we were on the same floor.
I
That's
was
how we
always
met.
over using their like mac and cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh,
Playing
you're
our
the
video
mac and
games.
cheese
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Keeper of the
We
Mac.
just take
Video
all
games
our
is definitely
stuff.
our thing.
No, but we obviously hit it off long enough to just room throughout college, and then he moved to New York and got his master's degree. Speaking of how busy, you know, we both are, and then I was in Washington D.C. and we both got our first jobs, and we were in the respective cities for about 5 to 6 years each, and then I was moving to San Diego, and we had kind of talked about this like a few months back, like in passing, and we just like called each other and we're kind of updating, like, hey, like I'm moving to California. He's like, I think I am too. And we just like realized we were both moving to San Diego, and we're already best buds, but like it was just very serendipitous. Like, and it was actually the same time he landed in San Diego like 15 days before I did, and that was not planned. It was just like by coincidence. So really
That's-
awesome, kind of, again,
guys were
stars aligning.
Destined to be business partners.
Yeah.
I know.
How long were you guys here before you started Driftline? Was it like pretty much right away, or was
No,
it-
probably 2 years.
We've been here about 5 total, so yeah, about probably a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like the acclimation period in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a lot of crazy shit that happens here, and it takes like a year just to
Just get
kind
through
of,
it.
you know, get
Settle
the lay of
down
the
a little
land
bit.
and be like, just stop while you're on with your job and like,
Yeah.
people actually do that. people actually dress like that. Like,
Yeah.
people actually act like that.
People actually respect Taco Tuesday like it's a real
Oh my
holiday.
God,
I mean, like
it is.
It is.
In my heart, every day is Taco Tuesday.
Oh, I love that.
No matter where you are.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless it's mac and cheese Monday.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, new holiday.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm into it.
I mean,
Super into it.
with all the stoner fusion foods going on, though, I don't know any reason why you can't make a mac and cheese taco.
I mean, sounds like we got something here. We'll
Yeah.
pivot Driftline.
Right? But yeah, so we're not a board shorts company anymore. Now we just make mac and cheese tacos.
Or
Use
mac
your
and cheese comes
imagination.
in the pocket of every,
there
every
you
trunk
go.
suite.
A mac and
Yeah.
cheese taco pocket.
Now we're talking.
Taco pocket.
Taco pocket.
Oh man.
Trademark
It's like,
that.
did you ever see, I think a few years ago it got kind of famous, but like the neck pizza?
Yes,
it's
I
like
have
a
seen
pouch. It's like one
The
triangle
slice.
pouch
Yeah.
that's clear, and you can like lift up a flap and you can keep a piece of pizza in it.
Mm.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sounds critical.
I
I
mean-
need that.
If you're like, think of it like you're at a football game, like you just keep it at your chest, pulled out, it's nice and warm.
Wow.
It's kind of gross, actually.
No, but dude,
But
no,
also
There's a
it's
protective
pizza.
sheath,
It's pizza.
you know?
but you have to like love that because like there's ingenuity in like everything, right? Someone takes a really simple idea and is like, yo, I'm gonna do
Right?
this.
It's one of those things that's like, it's not really like that useful or that you'll ever use it, but you almost like just buy it
Yeah.
it's not that expensive and it's kind of hilarious.
It's like a novelty at that point.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
like, you guys have Spencer's Gifts where you grew up?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
of course.
Oh, it was my favorite store to go into.
Yeah.
Just all the weirdest, like that's a
weirdest,
Spencer's
yeah.
Gifts thing,
Yeah.
Right.
Like, hey, this is this completely useless piece of shit,
Yeah.
but it's super interesting and it'll be
Right.
hilarious at least once.
Yep. Yep.
And you're just
like-
waiting for that one moment to show it off.
Yeah, how much is your laugh worth?
Right.
There's a whole industry for that.
I know.
That is crazy. Man, so I'm curious with Driftline, like, so the shorts, I imagine people are buying the shorts. They're pretty badass. Like, when you grab it, they just feel solid. Like, they're well made. Like, it's going to be worth the investment. So I'm pretty sure, like, everybody that's, ready to buy and then picks it up pretty much buys them.
Yeah. We for us, I mean, we do a lot of like in-person events, like doing like paddle events, surf events. I mean, we even same but different. So like when we talk to someone in person and they like feel them and they actually like pull apart the liner,
Like, pull that out.
like it's like a 2-in-1. It's like really stitched in there, so for active wear. But the minute they touch it and they like see it, they're like, oh, I get it. Like
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times we've seen that, like the reaction in their eyes. And then if they're watermen, like it's kind of either that time or like they'll follow up and buy. But it's for us, the hard part is like it's the learning process because if we're creating something that hasn't really been done before. People are like, do I need another pair of board shorts? But then the people that buy and they're like, oh my God, I never knew I needed this because it's just that much better of a product.
Yeah. So what are you doing as far as like your marketing efforts? Like how are you showcasing people what it is? Since it is kind of an educational process, but you're also still kind of a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
So like I imagine you got to find kind of a middle ground in there between like education and lifestyle. Like how are you accomplishing that? Like to get your message out most efficiently?
Well, I think that's really well said because we are, I think, in that in-between like aspect of it all. But just from a social concept, Wes is really, really good at kind of forcing the issue in coming up with creative ways for us to convey that to our followers and really just the local community. So whatever we're doing in terms of stuff on the beach, where we're kind of conveying the fact that these can be used specifically for water sports and all the different protective aspects of it that I think are the benefits. He's really, really great at doing so. But we also have some other techniques and things that we're kind of working on.
Yeah, and it's startup mentality. At our, we mentioned to you before we started this. Like our apartment is floor to ceiling inventory. Like it is shipping, it is marketing, it is like warehouse, it is our bedrooms. Like it's crazy. So luckily for us, we're both in it all the time. So there's not a part in a day where it's like if you see something or something strikes, you're like, oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
But we both wear so many hats in this company that marketing is not only just coming up with creative ideas and executing on them, but it's also now we're getting to the point where we're trying to be less sporadic throughout the day and more like we have a plan, we're launching this product. Like this design right here, it's actually part of our spring line that actually hasn't released yet.
No, nice.
Yeah, so this is actually
Get a first look, people.
first look
First
right here.
look. Specialty only on this podcast. Buy now.
Buy now, buy. So yeah, like for us, this is our first real effort where we're like, okay, we're launching in mid-March.
Okay.
We have like week to week, like email campaigns. How can we get creative with those? Social campaigns through like Facebook, Instagram. How can we get those? And then just trying to like build slowly. Greg and I have enough wherewithal in not only the social media industry, but also just like marketing. He works in sales. I actually work in marketing. So like we can
Nice.
double back on each other.
Okay.
But creating a real plan is something that we've been working like pretty hard at, really getting organized with.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of nice that you have those backgrounds coming into it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have sales and marketing, you don't have a business. I don't care what industry you're
Yep.
in. And if you're out there and you're telling me, you're like, well, I'm in accounting and like blah, blah, and it's like, it's all networking, word of mouth. Let me tell you something, that's sales and marketing.
Yep.
Like if you aren't bringing in customers, you don't have a company.
Yeah.
So it's like, those are just the first things that you really have to do is like, are people going to buy this? Or how do I sell this well enough that people will buy it? Like,
I know it's so true, and it's funny to like build on that. It's not only do we know we're past that phase. We know we have a product that's proof of concept is great.
yeah.
But now something that Greg's the most detail oriented person I know, and for me that's great.
Always good to have one of those.
Yeah, I live like here. Like
Can
I'm
you
up.
replicate yourself?
Yeah,
Come
I mean,
work with
dude.
me. I need
Just a cloning machine.
like 10 of you.
yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
So like having that balance of like power is awesome because we know now knowing each other for so long, but also business partners. It's like I can start something, Greg can execute, I can do this, and then like we kind of have like a flow now. So that first part of the process of learning each other's sales and marketing skills, and then now being able to implement them in our actual plan has been like instrumental.
I'm curious, what have you guys done to try and like optimize or systemize like your internal workflows and like working together? Like what have you done? Because I know like right when you start working with each other, it's kind of like it's learning each other's talents and gifts. Like you guys have the gift of knowing each other for a long time, so I'm sure it was more seamless than maybe most people coming together for their business. But I guess like what have you done to kind of overcome those obstacles of communication and like job responsibility internally?
I mean, that's definitely been a learning experience because
Yeah.
I think given our knowledge of each other and how long we've lived together and being roommates, there are certain things to navigate through. But going back to Wes's point about our backgrounds, I mean, he went to school for finance, the broad version of it, whatever the hell that means, and got his master's. So I think he has a very business-oriented background, but he's like super, super creative. And that's also where I lie too. Even though I'm super organized and detail-oriented, I got my second degree in graphic design. I've always wanted to be an artist and to be able to kind of take all these different, characteristics of ourselves and professional backgrounds. We did really do a test run. I think the first year was where it's like, hey, you try and own that, I'll try and this, and then we'd gradually pivot. And so I think it's never going to stop as long as we're really a two-man thing for us to keep seeing what we're both good at. But that's what we're trying to do is put ourselves in corners in which we are best at one thing so that we can just excel as a total operation.
Yeah. And what's weird is I actually never really knew this until I started this company with Greg, is that creativity isn't one thing. Like what I mean by that is when Greg said I'm a creative person, I am creative and I think like unique ideas, but Greg is creative in terms of being able to take those ideas and like execute in like the most minute details that I could never like see. So like it's just very different, and being able to recognize each other's talents has been huge. So I'm a visual learner. I need to write things down and see things. So we got like whiteboards and we have like a mood board. So like we have like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. Because I mean, there are these project management things out there like Asana and all these other Reich, and they're great. But for me, that doesn't really work as well. So we have like a working Excel document and working like project management, like our own project plan, if you will. But on top of that, we have like a whiteboard where it's like crazy ideas and like this is what's going on this week. This is the calendar to play to like both of our like strong points.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's definitely something that we've had to experience over here. I think we've discovered like it's just like being open and frank during business discussion. Like this is my opinion on this. Like take it as you will. Like I'm not trying to like change your mind, but like this is how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Like and it's not letting that turn into like a thing, but just like, all right, like you're doing you, like do your tasks, but like this is my input. Like, do you guys kind of feel like it kind of follows that path, like in your side, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, we're lucky enough to have known each other for a while, so I think we know, we can probably read each other better than others. And I'll actually like, if it's a graphic design thing, or if it's like the way things look, I'll be like, hey, like this is my thought, but at the end of the day, he's gonna get final say because he went to school for it. Like I just know my opinion. So I think it's kind of playing off of that. And I think, we are both very honest as long as it's like a business discussion. Don't like bring in the dishes into this conversation. Like this is like a business thing. And if it's like about something that you know more than the other person, I think we both respect that. So like if it's finance, it's like, all right, well, I'm probably going to get more of a say just because it's where I live, so.
And is that your day job then, working more in finance?
Yeah, I'm like the head of marketing for a financial company.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do you
financial
enjoy
tech.
Financial tech?
Yeah.
Nice. What are they all about?
It's like mortgage banking focused. Yeah, so pretty much it's a company called Black Knight, and we own like a bunch of mortgage financial tech like, instruments that can help lenders and people out there. So I help bring like really nerdy stuff to the consumer in a more
Layman's
digestible
terms.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. What is your day job? I know you mentioned you have one as well.
Yeah, so I've been in, I had different sales roles since college actually, and typically for startups. My first one was for a software as a service company, and that was great. And that's where we are.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so that was really cool, and I did that in DC, like I said, for 6 years, and that's what brought me out here. I was able to move remotely, but I just recently got a new job for a company called Remote Year, and they basically curate these work and travel programs for people that have the flexibility to work remotely, but instead of just doing it from your home or something, it's like, why not travel the globe and go to Latin America and whatnot? So they kind of offer a full service itinerary in that sense.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
It's a really cool concept.
I never let it get to the alarm. I was actually enthralled. Let me see. All right. Yeah. I love that you guys have your full-time jobs. I feel like a lot of people have this idea that in order to start a business, you need to quit your job and just jump right in. When really, I think it's the exact opposite, is keep your job until your business is making you more money than your daytime job, or at least enough that you can make it work,
Yeah.
Like, I think, yeah, I've known a lot of friends that are like, I quit my job, I'm starting my business, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
like, I hope you saved for like 4 times as long as you plan your business to take to start, you know?
I mean, I listen to a ton of podcasts because we both work from home for our full-time jobs. So, I'm earbuds in all the time. And sometimes I have to sit back and honestly like think about something because so many podcasts, especially entrepreneurial ones, they say like, oh, you have to quit your job, jump all in. And even like the movie, The Social Network, the Facebook one, where they jumped in all on the idea and make ends meet. That's great. That may work for some people and some companies, but right now we have bills to pay, a lifestyle that we love, and at the same time, it's working. Like
Mhm.
I work East Coast hours, so I do a little bit differently. It's like 5:30 to like 2:33.
Huh.
So it actually works pretty well, and Greg is pretty, more flexible as well. So I really think you can do both until you can't. But right now we can. It's all just about time management and just wanting it more.
Yeah, I definitely time management is just such a learning curve because there's working like, a 40-hour week and doing time management, being like, going to see friends that still expect you to go see them, doing your laundry, doing your dishes. You mentioned dishes earlier. Just general self-care, going
Yeah.
to the gym, taking care of your car, like cleaning your house. And then you start a business on top of that
Yeah.
it takes more hours than your day job generally. And then it's still trying to find that. Is there anything that you've kind of like figured out along the way? Like, how do you get all of that shit done?
I think, what's funny is I was telling someone about this recently, and they were like, "You sound so busy," and I actually almost don't feel that crazy busy sometimes because I think with just our day jobs and just like our lifestyle and I mean just everything we like to do on top of this business, it's just become integrated into our lifestyle. I mean, certainly there are definitely moments where I feel like there's not enough hours in the day because last night, for example, we were pumping something out and it was 9:45, which is not that late, but like I mean, that was after our work days. Mine ended at maybe 4:30 or something like that, and it just I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Like work here and then Driftline there. It's just like part of daily life. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, I think it just shows how much excitement we actually have for it and how the fact that like we're just all in and we have no qualms making it just part of something we're working till the wee hours in the morning or something.
It's funny, like, I think there are techniques that you can do to help with that, but before that, I have friends as well. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna start my own business. I'm gonna quit and start." You have to be wired differently. You just do. I'm the type of person where if I'm sitting on my couch doing nothing, I feel like bad. Me doing work or filling my day with something, whether it's hanging out with my girlfriend, working on Driftline, going to the beach to shoot some Driftline, surfing, those are things that I want to do and I actually feel like I'm doing and I'm living. If I'm not doing something, I feel off. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is just being able to really sit down and say for daily, like, this is what I need to accomplish. And whether it is going to the gym today, whether it is just, sending those 5 emails, just being able to list what you need to do. And finally, Greg and I have also created a business where like we worked this past weekend, but we worked an event where we were on the beach. It was 70 degrees, and we were like, okay, if this is work, it's a beach day.
Yeah.
It's like, this is work.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. If you love it, it's not work, so
Yeah,
it's great.
I love that. Yeah, you just mentioned scheduling, like your task list. I recently started practicing, I think it's called task scheduling, but I was reading a while back about how like the most effective business leaders, I guess, or efficient business leaders, they schedule their tasks down to the minute in their calendar.
Yeah, I've heard
Like,
that stuff.
I'm going to respond to emails for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to read for 15 minutes. And then I'm going to do this task. I know it takes me 6 minutes, so it's scheduled for 6 minutes. And which is just a whole nother level of fucking just on top of it to me.
You used to do some of that stuff, right? Like,
To some degree,
stand up,
yeah.
do something creative or something like
Yeah,
that.
especially during school, I was just finding that like I think I needed moments of inspiration, so I was trying to like delineate my day a little bit more seriously. It's tough. I don't do it anymore. It's like it's tough to maintain because there's so many times where you'll hit that maybe 6-minute mark and either you just are like, oh, I have other stuff going on, I can't handle that right now, and you push it off, or you go way over, So it's tough. People like that, I think, they also have a different mindset,
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Like, that's way farther than I'm at. Like, I'm basically
That's
like,
crazy.
all right, I've just taken my task list and then assigned it to like my days. Like, all right, I'm gonna put these tasks in this day or like
Yeah.
this morning. So and that's been pretty effective for me though. But I don't know if I can ever be as aggressive as like, all right, this is gonna take 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I could never do that.
I'm gonna try and beat it in under 6 minutes. But they're crazy. They're like, their one thing is you have to stick to that time no matter what. Otherwise, you have two options. Either one, you reschedule like the next thing on your list for another time and immediately goes on the calendar somewhere else, or you just stop what you're doing and then you have to schedule it in for like the next day, like to finish the task that you're on, so that you're like teach yourself like get it done in that time.
That's crazy. I could never operate that way because like when I'm on a roll of something, especially if it's like creative, I'm like, oh, let's lean into this. Like, let's see how weird and different we can make this. And then if other things suffer, whatever, I created something super unique in my brain at least. And then you can adjust and be malleable and, cater to your rest of your day the way it needs to be.
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot like that too. Like, all right, like let's just get in this task, and then just once you're going, like, and you're in it, it's almost like you have blinders on.
Yeah.
Like, all right, now I'm just going, and then someone, inevitably texts you or calls you or walks in front of your desk, like, hey, and you're like,
Yes.
what? You're like, oh God, there's a world.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Lift the blinds.
And then it takes like 20 minutes to bring it back.
Yep.
But God, watched this YouTube video, and I don't even know how I came across it, but this guy's like a coder,
Okay.
and he's just like super, super A-type, and he's basically just like gets paid per line of code that he does. So he's like, I'm just trying to go as fast as I can, and so I hired a super attractive chick to literally sit right on top of my computer, and anytime my eyes even left the screen, I have her slap me. And he's like, I almost doubled my workload.
That's
Wow.
insane.
Like immediately, like
Oh my
just like
God.
just his eyes even flicking off the screen. That's all her job was.
What?
Watch his eyes. Anytime they even left the screen, she would slap him.
Oh my gosh.
And
Do what you gotta
he had
do.
like a 180% workload,
Productivity?
like a productivity increase,
Yeah.
or I guess it'd be like 80% increase. But
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Or slaps, whatever.
You wanna start
Right?
slapping me when I'm off that?
maybe he just wanted a reason to get slapped by a
I
girl.
guess.
Oh man, coders are always interesting people.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh yeah. So, I imagine this summer is going to be a big summer for you. Like, because your first summer, I imagine you're just kind of feeling it out. You guys launched then what, like last April then,
May.
right? May.
Yeah.
It's like right as summer's kicking off. So you
Yeah.
were still just kind of like, we're doing this.
So green.
So
Yeah.
yeah, which is fun.
Yeah.
I love being green. I think that's my favorite part because you're just kind of like, all right, we're here, and you're gonna like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Like, so that first summer, to give you a little more background, Greg and I have never been in the apparel industry. We knew nothing about apparel. Like, this is I started t-shirts when I was like 18, but that's just screen printing tees. This is like
Sell
way
them to your
more in
friends.
depth. Yeah, exactly. This is way more in depth, and I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, but the fact that we had to be ready to launch and like selling a product, pricing a product, we were just like, okay, let's launch and like see what happens. We had expectations and didn't really put two and two together that, summer is important, but we didn't realize like how much marketing dollar and stuff you need to pour in during your like high volume seasonal time frame, which is summer for us. So you're right, that first summer we were like, just kind of going through the motions and really green and really just like unaware of the surroundings, but just in it. And I actually think that has taught us to be prepared for this upcoming year. I heard something pretty cool recently was saying that being like very green or like unaware in a situation or in an industry where someone else may be an expert in actually gives you an advantage. So like, for instance, if you're like an expert at like Nike in like apparel, you may not have started like the industry at like in May and launched right then because that may have just been like the worst time to launch for the summer. But for us, we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. Like, we want to get this out. We got a product, we're excited. But now that we have gotten like 8 months under our belt, we now are very in tune with the apparel industry, and we still have so much to learn, but we're still super in it. and it's just like, okay, now we're on the apparel dates. We have a spring line, we have a summer line. We know like who we're going after for the summer and spring in terms of wholesale and retail orders. So we have like a lot of work to do, but we are like a lot more prepared this year.
Yeah, I think first year we just, put it simply, we just weren't afraid to make mistakes, you know, because we knew we weren't going to be perfect right off the bat. I mean, there were definitely times where me especially because I am detail oriented, where I was like, we're not where we need to be, but in the long run, it didn't really matter. It wasn't like a make or break thing. And so going back to even the process about like how we've figured out our skill sets and everything, it really was that first year or this first 8 months that's kind of taught us and given us the space to be able to figure out what we're good at, what, you know, what works from marketing and all this other things, and learning to trust each other to deliver on certain things that we're kind of putting in our own corners. But yeah, this year is definitely huge for us, and we're really excited about it. But Wes is right. Like we are prepared this time. We started thinking about this like at the almost like beginning of fall probably, and you know, even though I was like, oh, let's just let the year wind down, like I think it's that forward-thinking mindset that is going to get us on track with the big players. So
yeah. And what's crazy is like thinking about it in fall, which is actually pretty true. We were late for that. Like apparel is like a year. So like they're already deciding like next year's spring line. They're already deciding like next year's like big color, the Pantone of the year. Apparel is just like so far in the future. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like because there's just so much lag time with manufacturing and designing, et cetera, et cetera. So now that we're somewhat caught up, we're like still catching up a little bit. Now we can be like, okay, we have our product now, which last year we literally were getting product delivered the day before we launched. Now we have our product. Now we're like, okay, let's put all of our money into like sales and marketing, because now we actually can just execute on it, which is cool.
That is pretty cool. I don't know why that reminded me, but I was listening to like a random interview about like apparel design copyright, and comparing it to like photo and video copyright, kind of, because it's kind of the similar thing. Like you're creating an art, basically. Like, hey, this is my work, and it was so interesting because they were like, basically, once a designer makes the item of clothing, then it's open design. Like anybody can see it and interpret it and completely rip it off. But as long as it's still only a drawing, then it's still, you still retain 100% copyright to the design. And I found that really interesting. And they basically went in there like, yeah, well, basically the big clothing companies are going out in the streets and stealing design ideas from random people just walking around. So most apparel and clothing and fashion is already stolen ideas from random people in the street, and then just kind of re-put together and repackaged, I guess, and then put out.
Yeah.
I just found it so interesting that just how the kind of the understanding of the law changes. But so what I'm kind of wondering is, earlier you said you have a patent pending. So is that because, I mean, obviously there's a design aspect to your shorts, but is that because it's more of a function than a design? So since it's a function, does that actually make it patentable?
Yeah, you already jumped there. That's awesome. Yeah. So we actually have a friend now. His name is Paul. He's our technical designer. We met him through like a friend of a friend, and he helped us do like the technical drawings of the shorts. And that was like a crazy process. Another language. Greg's a designer, but there's a technical aspect, like drawing the actual specs is just, it's mind-blowing. And so you're right, like if going to the apparel industry, like companies like H&M and all these like quick fashion companies can take design patents or design copyrights and rip them off by like a different stitch or a different setting. What we have, and what you were saying is function, it's actually called like a utility patent.
Okay,
So
I've heard that term before.
the utility patent actually just utilizes the two materials together for the function of the actual garment. So we actually have a design and utility patent, but you know our patent attorney that we've been working with it'll pretty much, our design one will be there, but it's not enforced. The utility is like the material of neoprene plus the material of the outer shell together is going to be patented that you technically can't put together.
Okay, and I'm guessing that the materials that you used are pretty much like the standard high quality materials for board shorts and for the wetsuit.
Yeah, yeah. We did a pretty in-depth hand touch because like anything that you put on your body, I'm very particular with the quality of material. I used to be when I was in New York. I was like the quick fashion kind of guy. Like, oh, that looks cool. I'm gonna go to H&M and grab that, and then you wash it once and it like disappears in the wash.
Glad I spent $70 on that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd rather. My friends and I were talking about this the other day. It's such a stupid offshoot here, but like underwear. It's like I still have some same underwear since I had in high school, which is ridiculous.
It's impressive.
I know. But like there's new underwear out nowadays where it's just like it's that good and you spend $20 more and it just is amazing and you're always going to choose that when you're looking in your drawer. It's kind of the same thing. Like I have board shorts that I've had for years, but now that I have these, I don't even know where they are anymore. So picking the right material for us was super important, even if it was a little bit more. Like
you cared about being able to wear it yourself.
Exactly. We built this product for ourselves. We want to be like proud of it and just be able to rock it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in order to sell anything effectively, you have to believe in it 100% without a doubt. Like you have to be able to, no matter what people throw at you, because I mean, you know, you get knocked a lot.
Of course.
When you're starting a business. And people are like, oh yeah, what stores are you in?
Yeah.
Like, oh, who are your famous surfers that work with you? I'm sure you get all sorts of shit like that. Maybe not those specific questions,
It's
but
pretty close.
you know what I mean?
It's pretty close.
And then, so it's just like, you have to be able to stand there and be like, you know what? Like, I know that this is like a new thing for you, like seeing these, and you might not have the brand reputation, but you have to stand there and be able to look at them and be like, yeah, well, these are the best. Like, we did this because of this and this because of this. And like, if any aspect of it doesn't line up with your beliefs, that's the second you lose somebody for forever.
Yeah, totally.
Especially as a new business, because you don't have that brand history behind you. Like, you have to be able to say, like, no, fuck you. Like, I believe in this 100%. I don't care what you say. Like, this is, my product is the shit.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I'd mentioned, Greg and I talk about this a lot, but if you don't release a product because you're trying to make it perfect or your perfect version, you're probably too late on releasing that product. So like we created our first rev was like our, I don't know, 7th revision of like our first short that we released. And we were proud of it to our like mindset for the public. Like we are going to be proud that this is out there. But now this second version versus our first, we're even like more like stoked on. And like I can go confidently to any person and be like, if you try these on and go in the water, your mind will be blown. Like it's there, and it like you can even hear it in my voice when I talk to these people in sales, and Greg is at these events like closing these people because like we believe in the product so much that if they put it on in front of us and go in the water, they'll come back and be like, holy shit, these are awesome.
Hell yeah. I mean, I see you also have shirts, and I'm rocking one of your hats. I love this hat. It's like a denim, almost,
Yeah, it's
or a
actually
corduroy.
Yep.
God, I had to think about that word. I haven't used the word corduroy in so long.
You don't need to in San Diego.
It's like, what was that teddy bear? Like, these hats are dope as fuck.
Thanks, man.
I only say this because, you know, you're a surfwear company, basically, or water sports. I was at the Hemp Fest last weekend, and there's a company that, obviously the hats were going to be made of hemp, but they used cork as the build.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's
I've
enough
seen that
cork
before,
that
yeah.
they float.
Whoa.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's rad.
So just, you know, saying that because you're a water sports company, I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool. They're like, yeah, like actually they float because there's enough cork in the hat. And she's like, and you can bend the shit out of them and then just straighten them out. Like, and it
Wow.
doesn't like ruin it.
That's a cool way to repurpose cork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
in
just,
apparel.
you know.
That's cool. There's a lot of, I mean, Greg and I went to Outdoor Retailer Festival conference this past year, and it's amazing how much innovation is going on within like the activewear water industry. There's just so much material that is going to be like really cool in the next couple of years coming out in apparel, and
Really?
like to the cork to like there was sustainable fabrics, whatever. But what's funny is the offshoot is Greg and I are finding that like the surf industry and like the water sports industry itself is maybe not thriving as much. So like it's these specific brands, like if you have a good brand that you love or you see some brand that's doing well, keep an eye on them because I can guarantee they're going to be like the first to market with some like really cool stuff in the next couple of years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think the future of Driftline is? Like, because I mean, I don't know if you can, say too much on there. If it's super secret, but
There is like something that we can't actually say, but it's I order 3 of these is going to be something that ideally no one's seen before. I have like some cool concepts. Greg and I met with some cool vendors who are making this fabric that like it'll blow your mind.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. We try and live by a mindset of owning the hour before you go in the water, hour during you're in the water, an hour after. Like that's what we want to be. We don't want to be, the street activewear company because that's just not who we are. We've really been trying to dial in like we want to make sure that you're meeting your moment in the water and just having the best time, whether it's surfing competitions, whether you're kayaking with buddies for fun or just like messing around, like enjoy the moment rather than focusing on worrying about what you're wearing because that's the best part about these. You put these on the water, you don't even think about the fact that you may be a little cold down there.
That's pretty awesome, guys. I'm really excited to see you bring more of your design and game and products to the market.
Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely been seeing you pop up a lot more around San Diego. And it's been fun to watch. Can you tell the people where to find you, your social media, your website, any deals you might have going on, anything like that?
Cool. Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram. It's driftline.co, C-O. And that's our URL too. It's www.driftline.co. And we have a couple events. If you follow us on Instagram or actually shoot us an email or get on our email mailing list, we are doing a bunch of stuff coming up for our launch, doing some giveaway stuff, but also pre-orders and discounts and things. But we have a couple awesome events like local to San Diego from now until, I don't know, end of summer.
Yeah,
like
just from here on out.
Yeah, from here on out. But that's where you can pretty much find us. But like we're local, so if you want to meet us up for a beer or coffee just to pick our brains, we're down. But also pick a pair of shorts up at our spot. If not, you'll probably see us on a festival.
Is it are you in any storefronts yet, or is it all kind of online? Make an appointment, come check it out, or come to an event, check out the shorts, maybe buy them there. Like, kind of, how is your purchase process going for anybody that might be interested?
Well, so definitely our e-commerce platform is huge, which is obviously buying online. We're still really, really excited to do those in-person events and selling direct to consumer. I think just from that education standpoint and people getting that light bulb moment of being able to feel and touch the product is huge. But we also just like love meeting new people. We've met a lot of cool people on the way who've helped us network and make new connections. But I think a big component of this year and how we can be more successful and ways in which we think we will is because we've started to get some deals in local shops. We've had some cool consignment opportunities in local ones here in San Diego and kind of up the coast, but now we're starting to get wholesale deals. We're really proud to be in Bing Surfboards up in Encinitas starting in March. We're going to be in Claremont Surf Shop. You can also find us in West Coast Paddle in Bay Park, right around here.
Okay.
Yeah, right off Marina.
Nice.
And then OB Surf and OB, and the list is starting to grow for us. So I think that is a really great statement on how even industry heads and icons who've been in here for a long time are actually realizing that this is a really cool product and something that's like can kind of change the game, because I think a lot of those surfing legends and stuff are a little slower to adapt, not in a bad way. They're the ones who set the tone for what everything is now. So they're kind of used to their things, but it's really awesome to have them feel like this is a welcome product to the industry.
Man, that's awesome to hear, guys. I'm excited to see lots more of you this summer.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming on
Thanks
today.
for having us.
Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't yet, please click that little button that says follow, or I guess it says subscribe. Subscribe to our channel so you can see more videos with local entrepreneurs and small business owners. Thank you.